is CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Naja Sherman, and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. We begin with the latest on the attack in New Orleans. Investigators now say the man behind the attack acted alone. They say he was inspired by ISIS. 14 people were killed, and at least 39 more were hurt. CBS News Miami's Nicole Valdez reports from New Orleans.
Law enforcement searched the Houston area home Thursday of the driver who intentionally rammed a truck into the crowd in New Orleans on New Year's Day.
We do not assess at this point that anyone else involved in this attack is involved in this attack except for Shamsuddin Jabbar.
The FBI has identified the attacker as 42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar, a U.S. citizen and Army veteran. Court records show he was divorced 3 times in the past 13 years. The FBI says the killer had an ISIS flag attached to the truck.
He posted several videos to an online platform proclaiming his support for ISIS.
Authorities say at least one suspected improvised explosive device and 2 guns were recovered at the scene.
ARs and bombs and all that, man. But the aftermath was really what got me, like bodies all up and down the street.
Among the victims killed were 28-year-old former Princeton University football star Tiger Besh and Reggie Hunter, a 37-year-old father of 2.
This hurts. This is terrible. And like, we want as much justice for him as we possibly can get.
New Orleans police say they are ramping up their security protocols after the city temporarily removed protective barriers designed to block traffic.
We're going to harden the targets more by using heavier equipment to block these intersections.
A cruiser had been positioned along Bourbon Street, but the suspect sped around it, veering onto the sidewalk. Nicole Valdez, CBS News, New Orleans.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
Taking a live look outside, great day across South Florida. We're also tracking a cool down on the way. Let's get right to Next Weather meteorologist Shane Hinton with the look ahead. Hey, Shane.
Hey there, Naja. Oh my goodness, the weather today. Have you stepped outside?
It's fabulous.
You know what? I think you summed it up there perfectly. Fabulous weather. That's what we're tracking right now. Temperatures in the mid-70s across all of South Florida. If you have not gotten outside at some point today or this evening, please do so. And in fact, if you want to dine out this evening, I highly encourage it. Here's your dining out forecast. Going to be dropping into the lower 70s by 6, 7, 8 o'clock. I do think we are going to be tumbling even further as we head through the overnight hours. So if you thought it was cool and refreshing this morning, just wait till you wake up tomorrow morning with temperatures in the upper 50s, and then you can see maybe even we'll hold on to milder conditions for my friends in Marathon and Key West in the upper 60s. But we're going to hold on to that dry pattern that we've been seeing for the past several days. We have another cold front that's going to be moving through tomorrow. This is the first of 2 cold fronts that we're tracking. It's not going to impact your highs tomorrow. In fact, I think we're still going to be in the upper 70s. But once that cold front moves through, cooler air is going to be ushered into the area as early as Saturday morning. That's when the chilly conditions start to arrive and the sweater weather fully arrives. Okay, you're going to be waking up and wondering, why is it so cold? On Saturday afternoon, we're going to struggle to make it into the lower 70s, and then we'll trend a little bit milder come Sunday afternoon. But Sunday morning will also be one of those sweater weather kind of mornings. As I mentioned, we are tracking 2 cold fronts. The second one is going to be impacting us the early next week time frame, and that is going to bring an even bigger cool down to South Florida. Tomorrow afternoon, I expect us to peak in the mid to upper 70s, maybe a few areas flirting closer to that 80-degree threshold. A bit cooler, though, down in the Key West and Marathon in the lower to mid 70s. If you're heading to the beach tomorrow, I wouldn't blame you. Low rip current risk, surf at a foot or less, and UV index is going to be moderate, so a little bit lower than what we saw today. If we look ahead to the weekend, you'll notice no rain concerns, but it will be chilly mornings for both days. Afternoon highs actually trending below average in the lower 70s on Saturday and closer to the mid 70s on Sunday, with a few clouds starting to build in. Let's take a look at that cooler air that's behind that second front. As you can see, our cold air tracker is showing a dip in the jet stream and then bring in some of that Arctic air, especially to the southeast, but even some cooler, well cooler than average temperatures for parts of South Florida. And it looks like we're going to hold on to this below average temperature trend for at least the first half of January, it's looking like. 7-day forecast shows that our only rain chances are on Monday. That's a 10% chance, so very much on the lower end. Behind that second front, afternoon highs in the upper 60s and morning lows. Look at this on Wednesday morning, 51. If we do drop that low, that would be our coldest low of the season so far, Naja.
Nice start to the new year. Thank you, Shane. Late this afternoon, authorities released new information about the man who died in a Tesla Cybertruck. It exploded outside Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas. Officials say he likely shot himself before the truck exploded. CBS News Miami's Nicole Skenga has the very latest.
Police say they're now very confident they know who set off the bomb inside a Tesla truck outside of President-elect Donald Trump's Las Vegas hotel. Authorities say they believe 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger was the driver of the Cybertruck, but the body was burned so badly they're still awaiting dental and DNA records for 100% confirmation.
There are 2 tattoos, one of which was on the stomach and one of which is on the arm, that we can see bits and pieces of it as in comparison to what it is that we now know he had on his body.
But there is still a lot of work to do to figure out why Livelsberger shot himself and detonated a bomb in the truck.
It's not lost on us that it's in front of, of the Trump building, that it's a Tesla vehicle, but we don't have information at this point that definitively tells us or suggests it was because of this particular ideology or any of the reasoning behind it.
The search for the why has led the FBI to carry out search warrants at Livelsberger's Colorado Springs home and locations around the world where the Army Green Beret soldier had served. Authorities have confirmed Livelsberger and the attacker in the New Orleans New Year's Day attack both rented their trucks through the Turo app, and they both served in Afghanistan at around the same time. But it's not known if they had any connection.
These turned out to be simply similarities, very strange similarities to have. And so we're not prepared to rule in or rule out anything at this point.
Officials did express surprise at the rudimentary nature of the bombing, saying that they would have expected more sophisticated materials from someone with Livelsberger's background. Nicole Skenga, CBS News, Washington.
A Northwest Miami-Dade family is heartbroken and desperate for justice. A 10-year-old girl was hit and killed by a stray bullet on New Year's Day. CBS News Miami's Peter Dinch spoke to that little girl's parents as they try to make sense of this tragedy.
Amid their grief, we are hearing for the first time from the parents of the 10-year-old girl who lost her life here outside her parents' apartment in this parking lot. Her mother said, "We are the parents of Yanelis Munguia." This is her last memory of her celebrating the new year with this sparkler. She was also celebrating her birthday. She had just turned 10 the day after Christmas. Miami-Dade police say she was struck by a stray bullet just minutes after midnight on New Year's Day and believe someone celebrating the new year fired the shot and did not know the child was struck. The child's father, Carlos, is overcome with emotion.
Thank you for everyone's support for the people that did not know her. She was a beautiful girl. We were thankful because she was a wonderful child. But we have another child of the girls, but she was the most beautiful. We are never going to have another one like her again, but God wanted to take her away. She made this for me on Father's Day.
Coming up in just an hour, we will have an interview with a very emotional grandfather of the child. We checked with Miami-Dade police. They tell us they have no leads or suspects. If you can help, call Miami-Dade Crime Stoppers at 305-471-TIPS. There is a reward of up to $5,000. In Northwest Miami-Dade, Peter Dench, CBS News, Miami.
We now know the identity of the road ranger killed in a multi-car crash on I-95 in Hollywood. It happened New Year's morning. This is video from the family of 28-year-old Jose Parra of Sunrise. He was killed on the southbound lanes of I-95. They are honoring the beloved husband and son tonight. Investigators say a speeding driver collided with another vehicle and they set off a chain reaction crash. 4 others, including 2 troopers, were injured. You're going to hear from his devastated family tonight on CBS News Miami at 5. Authorities are looking for a group of teens who allegedly killed about 30 Egyptian geese in a Cooper City neighborhood. A witness says the teenagers were on an ATV like the one you see here. It happened Saturday night between the Flamingo Gardens West subdivision and the Countryside Shops Plaza. More than 24 Egyptian geese were killed after they were run over. I'm going to have new information on this story coming up tonight on CBS News Miami at 6. When we come back, the stomach bug spreading throughout the U.S. What you need to know to keep you and your family safe. Welcome back to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Funeral plans are being completed for the late President Jimmy Carter. He will be honored with ceremonies spanning more than a week. Starting this weekend, people can pay their respects to the Carter Presidential Center in Atlanta. On Tuesday, his remains will be flown to Washington, D.C. That is where he will lie in state at the Capitol Rotunda. His state funeral is set for Thursday, January 9th at the Washington National Cathedral. President Joe Biden declared January 9th a national day of mourning. Following the state funeral, the nation's 39th president will be laid to rest in his hometown of Plains, Georgia. In today's Health Watch, cases of the stomach bug known as norovirus are on the rise in parts of the U.S. Recent data from the CDC shows there were 91 outbreaks the week of December 5th. That's up from 69 the last week of November. Symptoms can include vomiting, diarrhea, body aches, headache, fever, and other symptoms. The illness is highly contagious and not easily treatable.
There's really no specific treatment for norovirus. The key is to stay hydrated. So especially little infants, the elderly may have trouble keeping up with that. So that is the key to treating this.
Preventing norovirus comes down to washing your hands well and not preparing food if showing symptoms and cleaning surfaces with disinfectants. It is a problem that millions of Americans face, lower back pain, and it can have a significant impact on your body. But there is a path to relief without medication. A simple exercise, walking. A recent study linked walking to fewer backaches. Doctors say walking helps strengthen muscles and improve metabolism. Before you get to walking, make sure that you're wearing shoes with good arch support. That is important for your hips and your back. And listen to this, Apple TV Plus is letting people around the world watch its streaming service for free this weekend. The free weekend starts Friday and ends Sunday. Viewers can sample Apple original TV shows like Ted Lasso and The Morning Show, among others. All you need is an Apple ID. That does it for your CBS News Miami Quickcast. I'm Naja Sherman. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS News Miami and have a great day.